So, in our last couple of explainers, we saw how even the most clever classical ciphers could eventually be broken. Well, today, we're going to look at the breakthrough that really changed the game, an idea that came from one simple but really powerful question. And this is it. This is the thought that completely shifted things. It's so simple when you think about it, isn't it? If one tool isn't strong enough, why not just use two of them together? This very question is the heart and soul of what we're talking about today, the product cipher.
You can think of it like this. Imagine a substitution cipher is one type of lock, and a transposition cipher is another, totally different kind of lock. By themselves, maybe a skilled person could pick either one. But what if you put both of them on the same door, one right after the other? Suddenly, you've created a much, much tougher problem to solve. Okay, so let's just quickly remember what the core problem was. Early cryptographers had these two fantastic ideas, these two great tools, but each one came with its own unique and ultimately fatal flaw.
What's so cool here is how these two are basically mirror images of each other's weaknesses. See, substitution ciphers, they're great at hiding what the letters are. But a codebreaker can still see the rhythm of the language underneath, right? The patterns are still there. Then you have transposition ciphers, which do the opposite. They totally shred those patterns, but they leave all the original letters just sitting there, totally exposed to frequency analysis. It's almost like each one is the solution to the other's problem.
And that realization leads us directly to the solution, this idea of composition. The huge insight here was to stop looking for a single, perfect, unbreakable trick, and instead to start thinking about building security by layering simple steps, one after another, in a sequence.
And this right here is such a critical concept. It marks this major shift in how people thought about cryptography. It's the moment they went from trying to invent the perfect, unpickable lock to realizing that a series of pretty good locks is way, way better. The real strength is in the combination, in the product of their effects.
So this brings us to what we actually call it. A product cipher isn't really a brand new type of cipher. It's more like a new architecture, a new recipe for building ciphers. It's a system that just takes two or more different crypto methods and chains them together.
And this lays out the process perfectly. Your message goes in, it gets totally transformed by that first cipher, and then that jumbled up output becomes the input for the second cipher. By the time it comes out the other end, the final ciphertext has been messed with in two fundamentally different ways.
Okay, I know that's a little abstract, so let's make this way more concrete. We'll just walk through a quick high-level example of this two-step process in action. First up, step 1. We take our original message, our plain text, and we run it through a basic substitution. As you can see, all the letters have changed. The actual content is hidden, but a sharp analyst might still be able to spot the underlying patterns of the language just by looking at it.
Now for step 2. We take that output from the last step, that QOZVMHZZC, and now we feed that into a transposition cipher. We're just shuffling the letters around. See? The letters themselves are exactly the same as they were a second ago, but their order is completely scrambled. And just like that, we've hidden the structure.
This might seem almost too simple, but you have to understand, this two-step process was a genuine, honest-to-goodness breakthrough. It directly addressed the fundamental weaknesses of classical ciphers head-on.
So here's the really clever part. By doing the substitution first, you wreck the original letter frequencies. Then, by doing the transposition, you wreck the original word patterns. An attacker can't just use their one favorite trick anymore. They're suddenly fighting a battle on two different fronts at the same time, which is, believe me, exponentially harder.
And this is just such a powerful takeaway. It's a concept that goes way beyond just cryptography, right? Two things that are kind of weak on their own can, when you combine them in a smart way, create a system that is so much stronger than just the sum of its parts. It's all about that synergy.
Okay, but this is a really fair question, and one you're probably thinking. Is this just some magic formula? Can you just grab any two ciphers, kind of slap them together, and poof, you're suddenly secure?
And the honest answer is no, not automatically. While the principle itself is sound and dramatically improves security, the specific design is still absolutely critical. I mean, if you combine two really poorly designed ciphers, or you combine them in a way that accidentally cancel each other out, you can still end up with a really weak system. Good design always matters.
So where does all this fit into the grand scheme of things? Well, the product cipher is so important because it's basically the conceptual bridge that connects the classical era of codes to the modern one we live in today. This slide really lays it out for us. We started with those simple ancient ideas, substitution and transposition. The product cipher took those building blocks and combined them, creating a whole new design philosophy. And that philosophy, layering simple, well-understood steps over and over, is the direct ancestor of the powerful block ciphers like AES that protect basically all of our digital information today.
Now, just to be super clear about our scope for this explainer, we are not diving into modern algorithms like DES or AES just yet. Whew, those are really complex topics, and they absolutely deserve their own deep dive, which I promise we will get to later in this series. For now, we're just focused on this crucial foundational concept.
All right, so as we start to wrap this up, if you take away nothing else, just remember these 3 things. 1. Product ciphers are all about combining multiple crypto techniques in a sequence. 2. Their real strength comes from hiding both the content and the structure of a message at the same time. And 3. This idea was the key conceptual leap that really paved the way for all of modern encryption.
And that just leaves us with this incredible thought, right? The product cipher was a breakthrough that happened using just logic, pen, and paper. So it really makes you wonder, what happens when you take this powerful idea of composition and you amplify it with the insane speed of computers and the pure rigor of advanced mathematics?
Well, we are absolutely about to find out. In our very next explainer, we're going to explore the incredible machines that push these classical ideas to their absolute breaking point, forcing the invention of a completely new kind of cryptography for our modern digital world.